Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Maybe I can start with Radha Madhav, or do you want me to wait?
Okay. Yeah, you can start, Prabhu.
Oh, thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Shama Sundarade Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nitai Gaura Haribo Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Madhirahet Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam this morning. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 20. Oh, sorry, text number 19, sorry. Navai jano jatu katancha nabrajan mukunda sevyan Mukunda Sevyan Yavadanga Samshritam Smaran Mukundhangri Upaguhanam Punar Vihatum Ichena Rasagraho Jana. Translation. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruity workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. Purport. A devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enchantment of material existence because he is rasagraha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. There are certainly many instances where devotees of the Lord have fallen down due to uncongenial association, just like fruity workers who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as a fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruity reactions, whereas the devotee is reformed by the chastisement directed by the Lord himself. The sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not one and the same. An orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him. But a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, he always under the vigilance of his capable father. A devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruity workers. The fruity workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange of a devotional service. Exchange for devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by Lord himself. As a special favor, he may remove all the material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute his devotion service. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of highly qualified brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into position seemingly of helpless. A devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than who are born in good families. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate. But a devotee who is put into the forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. So pure devotion service is so spiritually relishable that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. That is the sign of perfection in progressive devotion service. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, and does not forget him, even for a moment. Not even in exchange for all the opulence of the three worlds. Om Agnanatimirandasya Nananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmulitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantika. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasti Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Angum Lamgai Tegrim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. So this verse in continuation, Amrit Keli Mataji yesterday read, and she was describing beautifully the way that we always have hope, whatever the services we have done for Krishna, and that is always recorded eternally. So even though the person who does the devotion service, he might forget, but Krishna never forgets. Once, Srila Prabhupada's, during the Srila Prabhupada time, one person comes with the bathroom tissue rolls. Everybody was laughing. What is this? Why did you bring this here? Then Prabhupada told him, right? Yes, thank you so much. You're bringing in service of devotees. So Lord appreciates whatever little service we do, and he remembers. But we don't understand how much Krishna remembers us for a little service. Even though when you go in front of Krishna and then bow down, we might be thinking that I want to do a little exercise because I want to stand. Standing people are all bowing down. I'll also bow down. That might be a good exercise for me. If I think also, Krishna doesn't think like that. He will think that, yes, this person is bowing down to me, offering obeisances. See, that's the way Krishna thinks. He's very, very merciful. So, and because, it says that what Larda Muni is telling, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down, he does not undergo the material existence like others. Prabhupada gives a very nice explanation of how a difference in a karmi and a devotee, of how the sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of the beloved child of a king. The orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him. But for a devotee, like he's like a beloved king, son of a beloved king, and a king is always looking at him. It's less vigilant by his capable father. And so we think that the person like a karmi might be suffering, but the devotee is also kind of a suffering, but it is not suffering. It is a chastisement of the Lord to show that, hey, this is not the real world for you, not real enjoyment. We always think somebody shows something it very attractive, we'll just tend to go towards that. But it's because the mind, our conditioned mind, is like that. It tends towards the enjoyment always. And then we deviate and we go forward with that. So that's even if falls down, that's called falling down completely and go down, go to the different paths. So I'll give you a quick example. One devotee was some time ago. He was a very strong devotee, doing a lot of services in the temple. And then one point of time had a bad association, so he quit completely off. And then, but he had friends keep calling him, hey, come to the temple, but nobody used to come to the temple. One point of time, the people who used to know, the person who used to speak to the people asked him, hey, why don't you go to the temple? And then he brings, somehow he was brought to the temple, and then there was a Gaura Arati going on. And he was actually standing behind, all the way behind. And Gauravati, almost Chamara came, they were doing Chamara for the deities. That time he completely broken down, and he was crying in ecstasy. And then he finally came back to senses, and he came back to his because it clearly says that rasa graha, then who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Krishna, because that person was a pujari. He was doing seva, everyday pujari service. So he has already tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But even though he forgets and he goes out, Krishna, once he comes back, he cannot, forget that aspect of doing service to Krishna, right? So that's what it is. Even though we forget, Krishna never forgets. And since we already tasted the sweetness, we may come back even maybe even today or tomorrow, or maybe years later he'll come back. That's what the beauty of this Krishna consciousness. And in the next paragraph, it says that even though a person falls down, there is an opportunity that one might be born in an aristocratic family in the next life, or in a Brahmin family. But there also Prabhupada describes that a person born in a good family, he is not so fortunate, because he has a lot of stuff, he can enjoy, and he might even tend to forget. But person who is in a Brahmin family might be poor in birth, but Brahmin is always helpless. Suppose he's no money, is always helpless, and it depends on the Lord. But it's very rare. Not many people are like that. Even though one person is born in a very good family, like Amrish Prabhu, look at him, how he's doing seva to Krishna. Whatever he has, he is serving TVP, he is serving. So like that, it's it's very difficult. It's not that I will get that opportunity, or I will do it not today, maybe the next life. So why do we go to the next life again? So better be in the association of devotees, practice Krishna consciousness. In that way, we'll be nurtured and also progress in devotion path. And I'll go to the next verse. Idam hi vishvam bhagavan ivetaro yata jagatstana nirodha sambhava tatti swayam veda bhavams tatapite pradesha matram bhavata pradarshitam. Translation. The Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is himself, is this cosmos, and still he is aloof from it. From him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In him it rests, and unto him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. This is a long purport. For a pure devotee, a conception of Mukunda, Lord Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda because it is emanation of an energy of Mukunda. For example, a tree is complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of the tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. The leaves and branches of the tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. The Vedic version, that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman, means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from him. Similarly, the part and parcel, hands and legs are called the body. But the body as the whole unit is neither the hands nor the legs. The Lord is transcendental form of eternity, cognition, and beauty. And thus, the creation of the energy of the Lord appears to be the partially eternal, full of knowledge and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls under the influence of external energy, Maya, are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this all in all, for they have no information of the Lord, who is the primeval cause, nor have the information that the part and parcels of the body, being detached from the whole body, are no longer the same hand or leg as when attached to the body. Similarly, a godless civilization detached from the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just like a detached hand or leg. Such part and parcels may appear like hands and legs, but they have no efficiency. The devotee of the Lord, Srila Vasudeva, knows this very well. He is further advised by Srila Narada to expand the idea that the entrapped conditioned soul may take lessons from him to understand the Supreme Lord as a primeval cause. According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally very powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and material skies are their paraphernalia, are emanations of the internal and external energies of the Lord. The external energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal potency is superior. The superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical, but the external energy, being inert, is partially identical. Both the energies are neither equal to or nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all the energies. Such energies are always under his control. Exactly as electrical energy, however the powerful it may be, it is always under the control of an engineer. The human being and all other living beings are products of his internal energies. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord, but he is never equal or superior to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To the Personality of Godhead, the Lord and the living beings are all individual persons. With the help of material energies, the living beings are also creating something, but none of their creations are equal or superior to the creations of the Lord. The human being may create a small playful Sputnik and may throw it in outer space, but that does not mean that he can create a planet like an Earth or Moon and float it in the air as Lord does. Men with the poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord. But it is never possible to surpass the Lord or to become equal with him. In a diseased condition, only the foolish being claims to be one with the Lord, and thus becomes misled by his illusory energy. The misguided living beings, therefore, must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to him. For this, they have been created. Without this, there cannot be any peace or tranquility in the world. Srila Vasudeva is advised by Srila Narada to expand this idea in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, the same idea is explained. Surrender fully under the lotus feet of the Lord, and this is the only business of perfect human being. It's a long purport, very technical, but I'll just give a 1 minute explanation, then you can all share because it's already 7:25. One thing I thought was we as a spirit soul, we may not understand what the Supreme Spirit and his energies are. So Prabhupada is explaining in one way, Achinta Beda Abeda Tattva. We are thinking Brahman, everything comes from Brahman, but we are also a part of Brahman. So that doesn't mean we are also God, right? But we are very minute in nature compared to the lordships. So how do we understand? Somebody says, oh, this is a idol worship. So person who does not understand, he will think of an idol worship. But person who can understand with a spiritual vision, he will think that it is an Arsha Vigraha. So it's like a 3D, we are wearing a 3D glass to see the image of a 3D movie so that you can see all the animations and all the effects of the 3D. Similarly, we need to have a spiritual vision to see Krishna in full form. That means to understand this form. If you don't have the glasses, we don't understand anything. That's the way. So that's why we need to have a spiritual vision. And even though we are part and parcel, we may not understand. So Narada Dev, Srila Vasudev is telling Narada Muni is telling Vasudev to explain everything. Even though we are conditioned souls, take lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we understand that he is the Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. For everything, he is the cause. And then another one he's talking about is the second paragraph. Think about a screw which is fallen on the ground. If that screw is used in the machinery, then it has more sense, and the whole the machinery can run and produce something. Similarly, the part and parcel, right? So the parts are like that. Even if at all we are detached, it's useless. If the screw is alone, it's useless. But it is part of the machinery. It is completely useful. Even the wire has wire used in the circuit has so much energy because it is connected to the powerhouse. If the wire is not connected to the circuit, that means that there is no use of the wire. That is the principle. I think I'll stop so that you all can explain something. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Mataji's Prabhu's.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Prabhu. Actually, I put two verses, so I didn't expect that it will go this long. So maybe next week onwards, we'll put it one verse.
That's okay, Prabhu.
Yeah.
There's so much to explain, but I thought maybe based on my understanding, something I said.
Thank you for reading this. It was so wonderful. I was just stuck at one point. The second sloka, the purport. Prabhupada writes that the superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical. But the external energy being inert is partially identical. So I'm just trying to understand this. Like superior energy is the living force that Prabhupada is referring to the soul. And the soul is completely identical in the sense of Krishna is also Satchidananda and living entity is also Satchidananda. But the external energy being inert is partially identical. I'm not able to understand what is the partial identity with the Lord. Because the external energy is described as Asat, Achit and Nirananda. That means the material energy is not a fit place for a living entity to stay. So how do we understand this partial identity partially being, the material energy, external energy being partially identical?
My understanding, Prabhu, even though we are part and parcel of Krishna, if you are not connected to within, because soul is connected to the super soul, then he can understand. But when we are with the material energy, right? When with the material energy, there's not much. Even when you are in connection with the material energy, I don't think, because it's a partial. Material energy is partial energy of internal energy of Lord. It's an expansion. So as long as we are in this Maya, we may not understand Krishna, and we will be enjoying the material nature as long as possible, but we may not be, and again, which will give us Brahma Bhuvana Loka Pnaravartina Arjuna. So in that way, we may not completely understand the supremacy of Krishna, and then is in that way, connect to the internal energy of the Lord. So instead of being in the Maya, Mahamaya, be in the Yoga Maya. Think in that way.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. I was just, just trying to understand how external energy is partially identical with the Lord.
Yeah. Because it's also material energy is also, it doesn't mean that it is separate. It's actually the part of Krishna only. So we think that it is material, but it's actually, that's also spiritual energy, because it's a part of Krishna's.
Yeah. Yes.
In that way.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol. Anything else? So many people on the line. Maybe you should all say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's very short for those 2 verses. Yeah, Lingaraj Prabhu, as you mentioned, if one verse, probably it would be a little better. And I was particularly attracted to that description, especially you were sharing that example also, Prabhu, for the Rasagrahi. That's so hope-giving and reviving my enthusiasm to continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. There are so many readers here. Other all, better than you read every day Bhagavatam. I'm not the person. Please say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I like the 3D vision that you mentioned. Just like one cannot appreciate a 3D movie with a normal eyes. Similarly, we have no clue about the spiritual energy that is behind everything. That is, so I like that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking, when there is a 3D classes, some object comes, everybody moves with the classes. Something is coming. So if you have that vision, if you have the special effect, then that's why whenever we say something in the group, always Prabhu, hey, this beautiful dressing, etc., etc. We say that Dhananjay Pandit comes back, Prema Anjana Churita Bhakti Sulotanena. That, and at least you have that love of the ointment of love. Then only we can see Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thanks.
If no one else is going to talk, maybe I wanted to add one more.
Please.
What which you read, that was as Amar Kelly was mentioning, it is quite hopeful. I was hearing from one devotee that
Prabhuji, I'm not able to hear you properly.
I was hearing from one devotee about the first purport which you read.
Yes, Prabhu.
He is sharing his personal experience in connection to that. He said that Krishna is like a jealous lover. That once you go to him and you taste the ecstasy or you taste the relationship with him. Even if we want to go away from Krishna, Krishna somehow pulls us back, saying that no, you may be able to live without me, but I can't live without you. And in that way, he tries to purify our heart in such a way that we will come back to him and we will never want to leave him again. And with so much confidence, Krishna does his job that, as he explains in Bhagavad Gita, Edgatva nanivartante tathama paramam mama, that once he comes to me, now with his heart and soul, once he's offering that to me, he will never be able to return to this mortal material world. He never wants to return, in fact. So that is the kind of love Krishna shares with the living entity, that he will never want to go back to a lower type of enjoyment.
Yes, bro. Thank you. In the Vishnu Purana, I was just reading before a few days ago. It says, even for a moment, if we miss remembering Krishna, that is the greatest loss, greatest illusion, and greatest calamity. So that's why we always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Oh, it's 7:36.
Haribol, thank you so much. We'll stop here then.
I think Shatrapa Mataji want to say something.
Please say something, Mataji.
Yes.
Few minutes.
Yeah. I was also attracted to that sentence that Sri Kishore Prabhu brought, and I had written down something in, I don't know when I wrote this. This is, I think, from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, about that point of material energy being different than the Lord. How similar, how identical, how different. Again, I don't have the reference, but I can read what I have written whenever I wrote it.
Yes,
in a class. So this universe is like the Lord. It exists, has life, and a form of bliss. But it's not the Lord's form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. This is because the Lord's qualities, like existence, are eternal, whereas the universe's quality of existence is temporary. Because the Lord is different from the universe. How is the Lord like the universe and also different from it? From the Lord, who is a possessor of Maya Shakti, arises the maintenance, destruction, and creation of the universe. The universe is described as a form of the Lord in small portion, like the Lord, because it's an effect of the Lord. Because the Lord is the cause, he is different. I'm only recollecting how our universal form is the blueprint for the creation, or external energy is manifesting, and universal Virat Rupa is, I think, somewhere in second canto, that lotus in the universal form, that is the blueprint. Even though universal form is the form of the Lord, but it's not identical. So in that way, identical, because it's the creation has a form and it has some and some knowledge, but at the same time, all these things are not eternal, they are temporary. So identical and different.
Yes, Mataji. I remember Vrindavan Prabhu once in the Bhagavatam class said about the blueprint. Everything is there, but it's just a blueprint. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for bringing this up. Some difference. Thanks a lot, Mataji.
Okay, I think we should end.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vansha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.